Down Charlotte, we are in day number 2 of the 2018 ACC football kickoff. We are visiting today with the Atlantic Division. Our second school to be with us here in the Grand Ballroom is Florida State. Cam Akers will spend a little time at the podium, and then we'll bring up Brian Burns before introducing Willie Taggart to the crowd. Folks, we've got microphones throughout the room, so we'll get them passed back and forth, and we'll see if we can have some fun dialogue with the Seminoles this morning. We will start off to your right, Cam, right here to my left immediately.
Okay.
Cam, Dan Tortora, Wake Up Call, DT.com. Simple question. First impressions of Willie Taggart and going through the spring with him?
Just a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. He came in and changed a lot of things, holding each other accountable, and we really enjoyed it, and we're really looking forward to the first game.
Along those lines, Cam, Coach Taggart talked about wanting, right here at the podium, he talked about bringing some fun into his administration, as it were. How much fun has it been for the last couple of months?
A lot of fun. He brought a lot of energy, like I said, a lot of energy to the program, and just kind of reviving us and bringing us back to Florida State football, where we're supposed to be.
So I'll turn around, take a look, and see what questions we might have for Cam out in the room. We'll go over my left shoulder to your right.
Cam, Bob Holliday, WRL.com. Coach Taggart is installing a new up-tempo offense. As a running back, how much different is it, maybe how much more fun to go be in the spread, go, high tempo, as opposed to the more traditional power I in the past?
For me, just a lot more space, a lot more opportunity, a lot more seams, a lot more opportunity for big plays. So I'm looking forward to being able to break a lot of those coming for this upcoming season.
Cam, back here at the podium in high school, you accounted for nearly 13,000 yards in your career, 79 touchdowns as a quarterback. You were obviously the leader in high school. You contributed very well your freshman year, but you weren't so much the leader. Was that transition different for you?
It was definitely different coming from the quarterback position in high school to the running back position, and just a different state in general. It was a different environment for me, and this year I look forward to taking on that leader role a little bit better and leading the team.
Questions for Cam throughout our room here this morning? Cam, 5.3 yards per carry last year. You sort of made it look kind of easy.
We got to get that up. That wasn't enough. I did a lot of research on a lot of other backs, 7.5, 6.2, so I feel like I got a lot of work to do, and you'll be seeing that progress this season. There's
obviously a relationship you had with the offensive line. Tell me what your rapport is with them both on and off the field.
Those are my guys. They work hard. They open up holes for me, so I give them all the credit. I don't take none of it. I give them all the credit, and I can't thank them enough.
Let's go back here to my left, your right in the second row.
Last year you split time with Jack Patrick. I would assume that would be the case again. If you're a defense, talk about the different styles, the different skills that you and Mr. Patrick pose for a defense.
Anything you're looking for, in my opinion. You got the bruiser who can get you the 5 to 6 yards, and he can make a play. And I could do the same thing. So, and as well as the other backs, not just us, as well as the other backs also. We got LeBorn, we got Razul, we got White, and everybody can make plays on the field. So it's gonna be tough.
To your left in the fourth row, striped shirt.
William Corbin, Tiger Time Magazine. Where are you looking to make your biggest improvement as a player from year 1 to year 2?
My biggest improvement would be leadership, being more vocal as a leader. Coach Tag talked to me about that all the time, just being more vocal and taking on that role.
Cam, over my left shoulder, about 5 rows back.
Alyssa Ray, WSLS Roanoke. Season opener against Virginia Tech on Labor Day. I know it's early, but what's your early thought on that matchup?
Just coming out and bringing the Florida State culture back, doing what we do best, and that's playing Florida State football, taking it one game at a time, and Virginia Tech first, and we getting ready.
Cam, you talked about the difference from high school to college. What was your aha moment as a college football player? What was the light bulb that went on that said, oh, this is what it's all about?
the aha moment for me was I was trying to make like a big play when I wasn't supposed to be trying to do that, and I took a big hit, and I was like, yeah, it's not high school no more. You got to take what people give you, and that was just an aha moment for me.
Do you remember what game that was?
The spring game when Derwin hit me.
That's funny, actually. Let's go back to the first row here with Dan to my left. It wasn't an opponent, it was a teammate.
Yeah.
Cam, over 1,000 yards last year as a freshman, but like you said, there needed to be more last year. What did you take away from that season of adversity where you excelled, but obviously you wanted the team to do more?
Me personally, I don't feel like I can excel without the team. So last year it's just something to work off of for me as an individual, but I feel like the team, I'm more worried about the team's success than my success.
Tell us about Brian Burns before we bring him up.
He a dog on the field. Like he give me trouble every day at practice. So I can imagine what he gonna do to other teams. Just a great person on there and off the field. He does everything he's supposed to do, and I'm glad to have him as a teammate.
Great, thanks a bunch. Why don't you guys switch places, and we'll spend a few minutes with Brian. All right, Brian, he described you. How about you describe him?
Cam Akers. Cam is a monster. Besides what y'all see up here as a nice dude, he's a monster in the weight room, on the field, in every aspect of life. I mean, he's a natural competitor. He plays hard, works hard, and he's extremely humble. And I'm glad to have him on my side.
Any questions for Brian? Brian will come down here to Dan to my left.
Brian, same thing that I asked Cam, your first impressions of Coach Willie Taggart, just what he's brought to this team and what you're taking away from his leadership at this point.
Coach Taggart has brought a new wave, a new culture to Florida State. I mean, he's bringing enthusiasm. He's making everybody hold themselves accountable, responsibility, no excuses for anything, whether it's missing a class, weight room, it doesn't matter. There's no excuses for anything, and he's really changing our guys. And I'm really appreciating. I'm excited for this year.
To your left, right here in the second row.
Tom Shanahan, this is for the Detroit Free Press. Yesterday, Josh Jackson, the Virginia Tech quarterback, talked about how they're watching a lot of Michigan State film to get an idea about Harlan Barnett's defense. Can you talk about how you guys are adjusting both to the new scheme and the new defensive coordinator?
It's a quick adjust. I mean, it's not too difficult. It's a defense that allows you to play rather than think. So we're able to play fast, physical, and aggressive, and everything is pin your ears back and go. So I mean, we're going to get after it, and it's not really that hard to adjust to.
Brian, just over here to my left shoulder, third row.
Hey, Brian, Adam Powell, Winmark Post. And you guys lost Derek Nottie and Josh Sweat, but you got yourself back, DeMarcus Christmas. Can you just talk about the D-line and how you guys are coming together?
The D-line, as usual, is going to be another strong part of this team. I mean, with guys such as Marvin, Kando, J-Rob. I mean, we have a ton of young guys. I'm forgetting a couple names, but we have a ton of young guys that are going to step up this year, and they're going to fill in those spots as far as Josh Sweat and Derek Nottie. So, I mean, I'm extremely positive and excited to see what these guys are going to do this year.
All right, Brian, we're going to look all the way in the back of the camera stand. He's got his hand in the air.
Hey, Brian. Aslan Hajavandi with WarChant.com. I was pretty much going to ask those same two questions, so I'll just try to freelance and figure something else out here in a minute. For you physically, how much do you feel that you've grown over the last, I guess, the offseason with Coach O being there now as part of Coach Taggart's staff? I guess that was the one thing that folks were so excited about you getting on campus was to see you kind of grow and put more weight on. How do you feel physically right now?
Right now, I feel great. I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life. But other than that, this program, this strength conditioning program has been amazing to me. Gaining weight, you know, Coach O is doing an amazing job with the guys. We're all working hard every day. So, I mean, there's nothing but improvement. And there's a lot more space for improvement. But right now, everything is going as planned.
Brian, back to your right in the second row.
Bob Holliday, WRL.com. Brian, I'm looking at the people who aren't here anymore, and it's really some of the biggest names in ACC football. You have just 4 starters returning on defense and going to a new system. You know, at first glance, you know, the tendency would be, you know, Florida State could struggle a little bit on defense early because there's so many new players. I'm sure you have a different point of view. Sell me on the scheme and the personnel that we've never heard of or that hasn't started before that are going to win games for you.
To be honest, yeah, you're right. There are a lot of guys that was key to our defense last year that left, and we do have 4 returning starters. But there's a lot of talent and young guys we have that you haven't heard of yet. That's soon to come, you know. But other than that, I mean, we do lack experience, but I am extremely confident in the guys we have that's going to step up, and that's what football's about. It's about the next man coming up and playing for the guy that has left. So, you know what I mean? It's always next man up. And they're extremely competitive. They compete every day, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do.
Ryan, your freshman year, you had 9.5 sacks. Last year, you had 4.5 sacks. Do you think offensive lines, do you think other folks are starting to figure you out a little bit?
Figure me out? No. The thing, no, I don't think it has. Honestly, in my opinion, it has nothing to do with the offensive line themselves. It has everything to do with me. Just to give you a little background, my freshman year, I was going off pure athleticism, doing what I can do. Coming into my sophomore year, I was doing the same, and it didn't work, as you can see. But over the course of the season, I matured and learned to grow up, and I learned there's other necessities that's a part of this game that I have to take. You know what I mean? As far as watching film, taking care of my body, things like that. You know what I mean? So that's why you've seen those flashes at the end of the season, because I was growing up. So, I mean, this season was important to me, and I'm going to take that end of the season and translate it to this 2018 season.
Other questions for Brian? We're going to go to the back of the room, it looks like somewhere. Camera position, first row.
Hey, Brian. It's Ryan Kelly with WCTV. Coach Taggart's brought a lot of former players back. Of course, he brought Coach Bowden back to spring practice. How much has Coach Taggart really emphasized kind of living up to the Seminoles standard and living up to what's come before at Florida State and, of course, all the tradition that comes with it?
He emphasizes it every day. I mean, this is Florida State, as we always say, and you got to live up to it. It's an amazing tradition that's before us. You know, it's bigger than us right now. So everything is bigger than us as far as going Florida State-wise. It's about the tradition, the legacy. Odell's going to preach that to us every day. He's going to pound that in our heads, you know. But other than that, we just have to buy into it. We need everybody to buy in so we can actually get back to the way Florida State plays football.
Brian, well done. Let's bring Coach up and spend a couple of minutes with him. Willie Taggart in the big room for the first time as a head coach. And so no pressure. Hands up all the way around the place. We're going to go far left by the door. Sarah, if you'll turn around. So, Coach, right by the exit sign.
Coach, it was just a couple years ago you were coming off 6 wins in 2 years. Then you found success at South Florida.
I don't remember that.
What did you learn then that led to your journey getting here to Tallahassee?
What did I learn then? To stick to the plan. You know, don't just give up because everyone else thinks it's not going the way that you want it to go. Stick to the plan, believe in your players, believe in the system, and just keep working to see it through. You know, I was told a long time when I became a head football coach, in order to be successful, you got to have a vision, you got to have a plan, you got to have an unbelievable work ethic, and probably the most important thing, you got to have the patience to see it through. And you got to be careful when you say patience. You know, as long as there's progress while being patient. Things are headed in the right direction, and luckily we had a great administration at South Florida that understood that and saw it through, and great things happened from that standpoint, and I think that's part of what I learned about it all.
Coach, right here at my left, first row.
Coach, you had brought up the tagline, lethal simplicity. Just to expand on that a little bit as we head into the fall about what that means for Florida State.
Just allowing, I think you heard Brian talk about it earlier, just allowing guys, just with the defense, allowing guys to line up and play football. We have some talented football players on our team, and we as coaches can't confuse them by being so complicated with a game that's simple and a game that these kids have been playing all their life, and we got to allow them to go play the game of football like we all know they can play and like we recruited them to play for. So just being simple and allowing our guys to play the game of football and have fun doing it, and also realizing they have a lot of other things on their plate, so you can't be as complicated as you want to be. Just keeping it simple and allowing them to be great at what they do.
Coach, let's follow the aisle all the way up on the left, 6th row.
David Hood with Taggart. Coach, I talked to you shortly after you took the job at Oregon when you stopped by Clemson for a day. If you had known, this is kind of jokingly, but if you had known that a year later you would be coaching the rival, would you have paid a little bit more attention to things around there? And then the second part would be, what did you take away from that visit with Dabo and his staff and kind of being on campus?
I wouldn't say I would have paid a lot more attention. I paid a lot of attention while I was there. Coach Sweeney has done a great job at Clemson, and I loved how he ran his program, and had a chance to meet with his offensive coordinator the year before, and was really impressed with him. And I think after meeting Coach Scott, I was like, I want to meet Coach Sweeney and see how all of this thing originated. But they've done a great job over the years, and once you go there and you get around the program and you see the environment, you see the culture, you can understand why they're having a lot of success at Clemson. So that was the purpose of going there, and it kind of, for me personally, just as a young coach and moving his way up, kind of clarified some things to me that we are doing it the right way where we're at, and continue to do things the way we're doing it. We'll get to where we all want to go.
To your right, second row.
Bob Holliday, WRL.com. Coach, welcome to the league.
Thank you.
In an explosive division, maybe the most explosive division in America, Florida State ranked last in offensive production last year. I was shocked to see that. Does that shock you?
Yeah, I think everything about last year shocked me when it came to Florida State. But that's football, and that's life, and that's behind us now, and it's on us now to change those things, because we know we can be a lot better than what we did last year, and that's the expectation for us, to be a lot better than what we performed last year. And so I'm looking forward to our guys changing that narrative.
How will your offense address those issues, your style, your scheme, and maybe bring back the fast break football that people saw from Florida State in the 90s?
Well, it all comes back to execution, and so we got to do a good job as coaches of explaining to our guys what needs to be done in order to be effective. And then we got to, again, put it back on our players and hold them accountable to doing their job. We know we have talented players, and if we coach them up and they're disciplined and they're fundamentally and technically sound, then we're going to have ourselves a good football team and a good offense, defense, or special team. So we have talented players over there. We got to coach them up, and then we got to go out and make those plays to change what happened from last year.
Coach, to your left, about the fifth row towards the wall.
Tashawn Reed, The Athletic. Coach, how would you describe your vision for this program, not just for this upcoming season, but for years to come?
My vision for this program is to win multiple championships in a first-class manner. That's our vision. That's going to always be our vision, and to me, that's what Florida State is all about, and that's what I grew up watching and loving when it came to Florida State football. Every year they were competing for a championship, and every year they were winning. So that's our goal, that's our vision, and that's why we all come to Florida State University, is to win championships.
Coach, your next two questions from the cameras in the very back. First one in
That's
the
a lot of cameras.
It is now.
Morning, Coach. Aslan Javani with WarChant.com. Was just wondering if you could kind of let us know, how does the conversations kind of go in the office to figure out who you're going to bring for ACC kickoff, and why did you ultimately choose Cam and Brian?
There wasn't a lot of conversation. It was just, Coach, who you want to take? And they're probably the last two guys I saw that day and had a great conversation with them. No, but these guys have been stand-up guys for us. They've done everything we've asked them to do. They are exactly what we need when it comes to leadership and guys that represent our football program. And we have plenty of guys, but we're told we only bring two, and that's tough to do. But I don't think anybody would second guess the guys we brought here today. They're guys that when you're describing Florida State University and playing for Florida State, these two guys are the type of guys you want in the program. I mean, they came here to win championship, and they know what it's all about to be here and what it represents. So I'm happy with the guys we brought here. To be honest with you, I could have brought any of our players and been really happy with them. considering the work they've done this offseason and the things they've done since I've been here.
Again, from the cameras.
Coach, you're the only new head coach here at ACC Kickoff in 2018, and the league has obviously gotten a lot better over the last 5 years, and it's astronomically better than when Florida State joined the league in 1992. How much does the ACC getting better maybe, I guess you could say, make your job a little bit more difficult to try to bring Florida State back to the expectations of Florida State?
I wouldn't necessarily say it makes my job difficult, but I would say it's a great conference, and I mean, I think if you look at it, being the only new coach in this conference, and only new coach, and the coach before didn't get fired, says a lot about this conference and the winning that goes on, and you understand that each and every week you got to come and play your A game, and each and every week you can get beat by any team in this conference. So you got to play your A game, and for us at Florida State, it's not about anybody else. It's about us and about the way we play. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's difficult. It's going to make it more difficult. It's on us to go out and perform and do the things that we know we're capable of doing, and it's on us to go out and earn the respect and get back to the days that we all know Florida State can and should be.
To your right in the second row.
You want to pick up the tempo with the spread offense. How's that process going? How much faster is it going to look to the fans than last year? And above all, talk about Cam and his suitability for this offense.
With tempo, now with our tempo, and I hear people talking about it, it'll be faster than what we've been before. You know, we're not a team that's trying to get 100 plays. You know, we don't do tempo to get 100 plays. We're trying to get explosive plays. You know, and we're going to tempo when we want to, and from that standpoint, so it'll be faster. We won't huddle. You know, so. That's going to be a change by itself. But the key is to create explosive plays, and I think that's something we all want, and we have the players to do that. You know, you talk about explosive plays, you got explosive players like Cam. You know, he's a tremendous talent, and if you, as a coach, you got to find ways to get him the football and allow him to do the things that he's capable of doing. And we saw that this past season as a freshman, him doing the things that he did, and again, you only can see that he only can get better, you know, and he will get better, and I'm excited about it. And again, we've always been able to run the football wherever I've been, and we don't plan on that stopping anytime soon.
Back to the cameras, sort of to your left, first row.
Hi, Coach. Dave Walsh from ABC 13 in Lynchburg, Virginia. Week 1, primetime matchup against Virginia Tech. Just if you could, please, talk about an opponent like Virginia Tech that has 19 wins over their last 2 seasons, but also making sure your team in your first game with Florida State, making sure they're ready for that kind of spotlight and attention right out of the gate.
Well, I think we all know we're going up against a good opponent, a well-coached football team, and a team that knows how to win. And I think if you just go back to last season, our guys played in a big-time game like this, and they understand what it's going to take, and for our guys, we got to make sure that we prepare so we can have a better outcome than what we did before. But I don't think playing a big game like this is new to our players, and we just got to make sure we prepare and make sure we do the things that it takes for us to be as good as we need to be on that day. You know, again, it's not about who we're playing; it's about us playing at our best, and we got to make sure we're training that way in training camp every single day, and we're taking care of our bodies, and then go out and then perform the way we train.
Right here at my left.
Coach, I asked Cam and Brian what their impressions were of you. What were your impressions of this team as a whole when you walked in, knowing the history of Florida State, and then obviously knowing that they had that adversity last year?
Coming in, and again, I was fortunate to come in, and these guys were still practicing for a bowl game, and that's new to me. But it was a blessing for me, too, to actually see them out working and taking coaching and sitting in meetings and seeing how guys respond to all those little things. And I was impressed with all of them. I think we have at first coming here, to be quite honest with you, I thought I was going to come here and we have a bunch of turds. You know, we don't. You know, we had a bunch of really good young men that want to be great, that want to that has some big dreams and some big goals, and just the reason why they came to Florida State, and to get around them and get to know them a little better, you can see that there's a lot of good kids here that want to do well, and that gets you fired up as a coach. You know, I hadn't had anybody I had to dismiss off the football team. And that says a lot about our players, you know, guys that want to be there and want to be a part of the culture that we're trying to create. You know, so that was, for me, it was very gratifying that I didn't have to do any of those things, you know, and get you excited every single day to get up to help these guys because they want it really bad, and they're showing it by the way they train, and they're showing it by the way they're going to class and how they're changing their ways academically, socially, and I can't wait to training camp and then the season to show how much they've changed it when it comes to football.
Your last question will come from Bob here in the second row.
DeAndre was playing so well against Alabama and then got hurt. James had to come in and play the season, played well, certainly at times. Tell us about the quarterback position here in 2018 under Willie Taggart.
This is the last question?
It is.
Someone finally asked me about the quarterbacks, huh? I mean, we have, and I know everyone talks about James Blackman and DeAndre Francois, and we leave out Bailey Hockman. He's another quarterback on our roster that's talented and going to have an opportunity to compete for the job. And I'm kind of like the rest of you all. I'm ready to see who's going to be our quarterback as well. And I'm excited. It's the first time I've been in a position as a head football coach where we have three guys that can play for you. So I'm looking forward to training camp and looking forward to these young men competing for the job. That's why they came to Florida State and understand that. They understand that when you come here, you're going to have to compete. Nothing's going to be given to you, and they appreciate that. But those are the type of kids that we bring to Florida State, and I'm excited to see these guys go out and compete this training camp. And I'm just like the rest of you, can't wait to see who separate themselves. And as we go into the season, and as soon as they do that, we will let you all know who our quarterback would be.
Coach, thanks a lot. Welcome to the league.
Thank you very much, and have a great day if you all want to.
And on that note, Syracuse is due up at 10:45.